Hey there, good morning. Happy Thursday or Friday or whatever day you're watching this, if you're watching a replay. For those of you on live, happy Thursday. Welcome to Growth and Grace. This is our little weekly show where we just talk about whatever we want because we're grown-ups and we can. So I came this morning, I had a few different things that I wanted to talk about, and I kind of wanted to cram them all into one, and then I thought, you know what, that's not totally effective to just try to cram a whole bunch of topics into one 15-minute thing. So I'm just going to focus on one thing, and we'll go from there. Good morning, Denise. Hey, I see you on there. Good morning. As people are popping on, we want them to know what we're talking about. So this morning we're going to talk about claiming it like you're naming it. And I love cheesy little rhymey things. So what we're really diving into, oh, Denise, goodness, I'm sorry to hear that you're in a cyclone right now. That's pretty intense. I'm glad it looks like you are safe if you're able to be online. So I'm so glad to know that. We are going to chat about claiming it like you're naming it. And the reason that this keeps coming up for me is because you guys know my little lotion routine. You guys know I do this each time. Growth and Grace is the name of this Facebook Live. It's the name of my company, and it is something that I created a couple years ago, like that name specifically. And it came up while I was in leadership training. So you guys, if you don't know my story, my whole big background story that I share pretty regularly is overcoming depression. Like I lived with it with most of my adult life and overcoming it, and a lot of it was due to this leadership training that I went through. And in that training, there were a couple different challenges and okay, you guys, we want you to do this and we want you to go out and do this. And one of the challenges I remember was doing a Facebook Live, and I'd never done one before. So if you guys look back in the archives, it's one, I have a messy bun and I have eyeliner on and I'm standing out on a on a pier with some boats in the background. It's horrible audio, it's really choppy, but it was the first one I ever did, and I didn't know what I was doing. And then the challenge was to make it a regular thing. So I turned it into a weekly show, and I came up with a name for it. And as I was coming up with the name, it was like, what do I want to call it? I mean, I felt like so much pressure, like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm, people are going to know that this is a thing, and what am I going to call it? And I don't just want it to have it be like weekly show with Susan or something. Like I wanted to come up with something kind of neat for it. So as I'm thinking through, a lot of this leadership training is like really rediscovering who you really are at the roots, like all the filth that has been kind of like mucked around with over all the years, and all the layers of just like, ugh, that life can bring, is just kind of sloughed off during this training. So it's really getting back to your core self. And it's really speaking to like owning who you are. And I remember thinking, like, Growth and Grace just came to me. And I remember thinking, that's kind of cool. Like, I like that name. Sorry, you guys, the same routine every week. My cat's hair just gets all over. And so I was thinking about it, it's like, that's kind of cool, but I don't really feel like that's me. Like if you guys had known me or been watching my life, it certainly didn't look very graceful. It didn't feel very graceful. And I didn't feel like I was growing. Like the whole, I don't know how many years leading up to me going through this training felt so stagnant. Like I was living the same year over and over and over. And so when I came up with that name, I thought, ooh, that's like, I like it, and that would be kind of neat, but I don't know that that's, like, I don't know that that's accurate. I don't know that that's who I am, but I would like to be. And here's what's cool, is now I can look back and I can see over the last couple years, totally not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. However, I can look back and recognize there have been scenarios where I've had certainly had opportunities to respond in a angry way or in a frustrated way, or like just totally like getting super not graceful. And I will tell you very pointedly, knowing that it's my brand and knowing that I'm representing it, has caused me to really be able to take that deep breath first before I respond, and respond with grace and handle it with grace. And I'm, again, by no means is this like an everyday thing. It's not perfect. But it has made a significant change in how I respond to things because I now claim it like I named it. So growth and grace is not just a title. It's not just a cutesy like, oh, we'll talk about growth and we'll talk about grace and how they work together and la-di-da. It's very real and it really makes a difference. And so I bring this up because what are you claiming in your own life? Like, what have you been naming out? Because it is as we speak. So what are you saying over yourself? What are you speaking out about what you want in your future? Like, what are you, as you're having conversations with people, what are the words coming out of your mouth? Because they are literally going to become your reality. So if you want to step into a new arena in life, or you want to get a different job, or you want, to find that special someone, or whatever it is that you're speaking out, be really cognizant of the words you're using, because you have the opportunity to step into that and claim that. And specifically, what are you speaking over yourself? Are you calling yourself lazy or unintelligent or stupid? Or I guess unintelligent and stupid could kind of be synonyms. Things I've all said about myself. So I'm using very real life examples here. But what are the things that you're thinking about yourself? I encourage you to print out something that is like an affirmation. I'm a joyful, inspiring, worthy leader. Like, I'm looking at it right now. It's taped to the bottom of my monitor because I want to be reminded of that. And I want to be able to be in a situation and think, okay, Susan, how would a joyful, inspiring, worthy leader respond? Because it kicks us out of the immediate default of the rah. I say we. I know I'm not the only one that has those tendencies to want to just like react to things. But when you have this baseline that is speaking to who you really are, speaking to that inner strength, speaking to the confidence and the abilities that we have within us, the characteristics we really want to claim, when we have that baseline of really, okay, growth and grace. If I'm representing growth and grace, how do I want to respond here? And let me tell you, it shifts things really dramatically. It allows you to be calm when you otherwise wouldn't be calm. It allows you to speak from a place of compassion and understanding, and with a firmness and a confidence that just flippant Susan on her own with no like steady baseline, that's how she would respond. So when you're looking throughout your day, when you're looking at like what you're looking at, and I'm looking around my apartment, looking at my bookshelf, looking at my vision boards across the way, like, what are you taking in internally? Because that comes into your being. It becomes part of who you are. It's, if you're watching shows that are all about crazy murders and crime scenes and like all these like dark things, that becomes your reality. It starts becoming the filter that you see the world through. And it's dangerous to start living through that. Like, everyone's awful. Everyone's out to screw you over. Like, no good can come of this. And there's no person out there for me. And like all of that heaviness and that, that is not true. So this is kind of rambly, but I really, really want you to know and to claim what you're speaking out. So I want what you're speaking out to be something you're excited about, to be something you want to step into, something you would want to own, something that you would want to be known for. And, I look back at ways that I've handled things in the past, some of which were way in the past and some of which were more recent, that I'm not proud of. And I'm going, I really would not like to be remembered as that. That's like, I feel awful for how I handled that, or what I said, or, how I treated that person. And I can't take it back. What I can do moving forward, though, is own it, like be in responsibility for what I created, what I caused, or any hurt or pain that I caused, and choose to do something differently next time. So while I won't be in those exact same scenarios again, I will be in other situations, other scenarios where I would have a response. I would have an opportunity to like react. And instead, I can choose to respond from this place of growth and grace, from this place of being a joyful, inspiring, worthy leader. And the reason I love growth and grace specifically is because we all need grace. Like there is in no way, shape, or form do I have this down to perfection. I make mistakes every single day. And there are times where I absolutely do not live up to the growth and grace like brand that I would like to be living up to. There are times where I'm not joyful, inspiring, worthy leader, like where I'm not stepping into that and claiming it. So it's not a perfect science, but it is definitely helpful, and it certainly has made a difference. And it helps me feel like, oh, Susan, you actually handled that well, instead of like, okay, well, that's an apology that you're gonna need to make soon because that didn't go great. And I still have those, but they're fewer and further between because now I have a baseline that's like really core who I am. So with that, I'm gonna hop off. Denise, I'm just seeing your other comment that's not hitting till tomorrow. Be safe, find some cover, and just prayers your direction. We'll see you guys next week on Growth and Grace, Thursdays at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Until then, have a phenomenal day. All right? Bye for now.